Stop decentering men and start centering your hatred for them. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think, how can I ruin a man's day? How can I gaslight, manipulate, disadvantage a man in my life? Bonus points if they are happy, if they are financially stable, they're really at a good place in their life.
You just said.
I'm just saying, as soon as y'all realize the fact that when you get off of work, you don't get to lay down. You don't get to lay down. You don't get to relax. You don't get to go to sleep. Get it out your head. There's still stuff to do. We got laundry. We got trash. We got bottles. We got dishes. We got quality time. We have things to do. Now, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock roll around. All right, cool. Go to bed. That's what bed is for. But at 5 o'clock, when you're getting off, you don't get to go to sleep. You don't. As soon as that clicks, it gets together. You'll figure it out.
You about to go viral for this one.
It's a real thing. Because when I get off work, I'm still working.
When did you become in control of my bedtime? Wow! Let me zoom. Oh, I wish I could zoom in. Don't tap my phone with it.
And then point 1. Uno, dos.
Okay. Got it.
Shalom. Welcome to another video. And as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahwadash. And next, double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all ye sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what people hear or what they forbear. Alright, this is going to be a reaction to the TikTok clip that I put in the introduction to this video. And you see this crazy woman talking about, how she wakes up thinking about how can she manipulate, how can she destroy a man's life. And this is what Babylon the Great has bred. All right, this is actually probably a lot more common than we would like to believe. Okay, and the scriptures talk about this. The scriptures talk about, the wickedness of women. All right, man. So, they can be a major blessing. All right, but they can also be a major stumbling block and can completely destroy you if you allow the right woman into your life. So we gotta walk circumspect. All right, when dealing with with women, people in general. Okay, but of course, us being men, women a lot of times can be sent in to infiltrate. Okay, like in that movie The Matrix, you had the woman in the red dress. Okay, the whole time she was an agent. All right, and that's what a lot of these women are. They're agents. Okay, agents of chaos. So we got to be careful, and just know what the scriptures say. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into that topic. And Yahweh Rachazam, the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. Starting off here in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, all right, verses 28 and 29. I'm gonna read these in the KJV and in the NLT. It says, "Which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not one. I find not one man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Lo, this only have I found, that the Most High hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions." Let's read this in the New Living Translation. All right, Ecclesiastes 7, verses 28 and 29 in the NLT. It says, "Though I have searched repeatedly, I have not found what I was looking for. Only 1 out of 1,000 men is virtuous, but not one woman." Okay, and he said that thousands of years ago. Okay, so imagine in today's time, we're living in the most wicked queendom to ever have existed on the earth. So if he said, out of every 1,000 women I found, not one that was righteous, how much more now? Okay, how much worse is it now? Now, probably you could say 1 in every 10,000 women that you meet. All right, most men don't even probably meet 10,000 women in their lifetime. In other words, it's extremely, extremely, extremely rare to find a virtuous woman, a righteous woman. And that same sentiment is spoken of in Proverbs 31st chapter. A virtuous woman who can find, for her price is far above rubies. Okay, it says verse 29, NLT, "But I find this, the Most High created people to be virtuous, but they have each turned to follow their own downward path." All right, and that's what this is. Okay, that this is what happens when you leave, all right, someone that's wicked to their own devices. Okay, let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 25. Both chapter 25 and 26 of this book, Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, talk a lot about the nature of women. Okay, this is the first, red pill book, so to speak. All right, is the Bible. Now, I don't really attain to red pill ideologies in particular. All right, but okay, the reality of it is that people are wicked just in general. Okay, but women in particular can really, really be wicked, and I would say in general, women are more wicked than men are. But there is righteous, hopefully, like ladies out there. They're just few and far in between. Extremely. The same with the men, though. Vast majority of men are wicked, but we're talking about the women because the women can be used as a trap for brothers. So you have to be informed on the true nature of how women are. All right, this is Sirach chapter 25 and verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, meaning the mind, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Okay, because see, a guy, you have an enemy. Now we don't really. Our enemies are not, just regular people out in the world. Okay, our enemies are, these high level elites. All right, but let's say, for example, in the world you got, Jake has an enemy. Okay, that enemy might come up, they might fight, whatever. Worst case scenario, they shoot. But okay, a wicked Eve, a wicked woman, all right, will seek to destroy your whole life. Okay, just like she said bonus points if they're well together, if they're well put together, they're at the height of their career, whatever, etc., etc. And a lot of these women think like this, man. Okay, that's why, once again, give me any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. All right, let's get Sirach, same chapter, verse 19 though. Sirach 25 and 19, it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Okay, and there's a reason why the scriptures say that. Okay, because they can be very insidious, conniving, all right, deceitful. Okay, so you have to be prepared. You have to, even women, there's a saying, they say women understand each other and they hate each other. They say so you don't want to understand women, because women understand each other and they hate each other. And once again, this is not directed towards the hopeful elect sisters. All right, there's righteous women out there, though they are few and far in between, but this is direct. Most of these women, especially here in America, they mean you no good. A lot of women think like this, man. And all you got to do to see it is go on social media. Okay, they talk about all day, they complain about how much they hate men and this and that, yada yada. So I'm not just making this up. Okay, and you see the woman in the video. A lot of women think like this. Okay, Sirach 25 and 21, it says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure, because really that's the main power that a woman has over you. All right, if you are not able to control your sex drive, all right, you're thinking with your little head and not your big one, you're much more easily manipulated by a woman. All right, that's just the reality of it. Okay, and we've all fallen victim to it, some worse than others. But once again, the scriptures tell you right here, stumble not at the beauty of a woman. And a lot of men have fallen out the truth because of women. All right, so you look at Solomon. Okay, that's a perfect example. All right, he fell in love with the beauty of all the strange wives that he had, and it led him away from the Heavenly Father. Okay, ultimately leading to the demise of the tabernacle of David and the splitting of the southern and northern kingdom. Okay, so it caused a lot of damage because he, was not able to control himself. Okay, so just remember that. Also, we get Proverbs 6 and 25. It says, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. And this is going into the adulterous woman, okay, which is is symbolic, but it's also literal. Okay, the adulterous woman, when you read the context of this chapter, all right, these women, and all these women are really adulterous because they all bounce from rod to rod. All right, but it's kind of reiterating the same sentiment we just read in Sirach 25 and 21. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, and neither let her take thee with her eyelids. Okay, once again, their beauty, their sex appeal, these things are traps for weak men. So you have to be aware of that. All right, and let's get this one. Okay, most importantly of all, Sirach 26 and 23. It says, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. Okay, so if you want to escape from the wicked woman, don't be wicked yourself. But a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahweh Bashmi Shai, because there's nothing wrong with having a woman. Okay, Apostle Paul said, if you can't contain yourself, it's better to marry than to burn, meaning that it's better to just go ahead and get your woman. But I would rather have that you don't touch a woman at all. But certain men aren't, everybody can't do that. Okay, certain men, they're gonna want to have a woman, and most men will. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're able to discipline yourself, it's better not to. But the thing about it is that, okay, Yahweh Bashmi Shai is going to give, he is going to give a righteous, hopeful elect lady, okay, to the hopeful elect men. Okay, actually, the elect men will have many wives, and they're going to be in order, especially in that day, because if not, it's life or death for them. Okay, and it has to be that way because you see a rebelliousness when you remove consequences from society. This is what you get. All right, women like this in this TikTok video. Okay, there's no consequences. They're not held accountable, so she feels like she feels emboldened to even go out there and say some crap like this online for the whole world to see. Can you imagine a man making a video like this? Like the backlash that he would get. All right, but this is just normal. Okay, so we live in a society that doesn't really hold women accountable for a lot of things, and this is the end result. And a lot of these women, they will seek to destroy you, especially if you're a man of the Lord on your purpose. The spiritual demon Satan will send them your way, so you just got to be careful about that. All right, and I'll close out with this. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. She's trying to trap you up. Whoso pleases the Most High shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Okay, and that is exactly what a woman like this that we saw in the TikTok video, perfect example of this. So you brothers, just beware out there. All right, think with your big head, not your little one, and may Yahweh Shemel shall protect you. Okay, there's a saying I used to say in the world. I would say I wouldn't say how, I didn't know the name back then, but I would say I would say a woman's rejection a lot of times is God's protection. Okay, everything that glitter ain't gold, man. You gotta remember that. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Just wanted to show you guys this. Warn, especially the younger brothers out there. You hot and heavy. I get it. I'm a young man myself, but once again, we gotta think with our big head, not our little ones, because it can get you into a whole lot of mess. And worst case scenario, the wrong woman could push you out the truth. All right. So I'm going to close it out there. Heavenly Father's will. It was edifying as always. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, and until next time, Shalom, and abide, Babal.